Hello, and welcome to today's story. In this episode, we examine the baffling case of Dorothy Harriet Camille Arnold, a young American socialite and aspiring writer who vanished in December 1910. Despite intensive searches and immense media interest at the time, her fate remains unknown. The following account is based on historical records, newspaper archives, and testimonies from those connected to the case. As with all unsolved mysteries, certain details and theories remain unconfirmed. Viewer discretion is advised for discussions of possible foul play and unverified rumors. Dorothy Harriet Camille Arnold was born on July 1, 1885, into a prominent New York family. Her father, Francis R. Arnold, was a successful perfume importer, and her mother, Mary Parks Arnold, hailed from a well-connected circle of American society. Dorothy had several siblings, including a sister named Marjorie, raised in a luxurious home on Fifth Avenue. Dorothy received an elite education and was exposed to upper-class social life from an early age. Dorothy attended Bryn Mawr College in Pennsylvania, a prestigious institution for women. She graduated in 1905, fostering a keen interest in literature and writing. Aspiring to be a successful author, Dorothy penned short stories and essays, although attempts to get her work published were met with limited success. Friends and acquaintances described Dorothy as cultured, independent-minded, and witty. She participated in social gatherings typical of early 20th century high society, yet she also harbored ambitions beyond mere social engagements. Family members later emphasized that, by all indications, Dorothy led a stable, contented life prior to her disappearance, though some disputes existed concerning her writing pursuits and personal relationships. On December 12, 1910, Dorothy left her family's residence on East 79th Street in Manhattan around mid-morning, telling her mother she was going shopping for a dress. She wore a navy blue jacket and matching skirt, accompanied by other attire suitable for a cold day. She carried a modest amount of money and no overnight bag, indicating she did not plan an extended absence. Dorothy was observed visiting several shops in the vicinity of Fifth Avenue and 27th Street, including a stationery store where she purchased some items. She reportedly bumped into a friend, to whom she mentioned she was on her way to Central Park. After this point, Dorothy Arnold effectively vanished. She never returned home, and no further reliable accounts placed her anywhere else in the city. Initially, Dorothy's parents were not overly alarmed, assuming she had stayed late with friends. By nightfall, however, concern mounted. The next day, the family discreetly asked close confidants about Dorothy's whereabouts, hoping to avoid a public scandal. Within days, they realized something was seriously wrong. The Arnolds hesitated to approach the police or disclose Dorothy's disappearance publicly, fearing gossip and shame in elite social circles. Instead, Francis Arnold hired the Pinkerton Detective Agency and private investigators to track her down quietly. This initial secrecy may have hindered official efforts to gather fresh leads. By January 1911, Dorothy's disappearance broke into the newspapers. Journalists seized the story of a high-society young woman mysteriously gone, fueling sensational headlines. The family offered substantial rewards for information, and the public devoured every detail. Rumors proliferated, but tangible clues remained elusive. Investigators pursued tips from across the US and even Europe, combing hospitals, morgues, boarding houses, and asylums. Despite multiple reported sightings, no verifiable trace of Dorothy emerged. The Arnolds reportedly spent thousands of dollars in their search, including placing ads in major newspapers, yet all leads eventually hit dead ends. Some notes were found in Dorothy's room, referencing her literary frustrations after a manuscript rejection. Yet these did not indicate a plan to run away or harm herself. A rumor suggested she may have left behind a letter implying dissatisfaction, but no such letter was conclusively verified. Dorothy had only a small sum of money on her person when she left. She did not withdraw any large amounts from her bank account, diminishing the likelihood of a long-planned escape. No subsequent transactions were recorded in her name, complicating theories about her starting a new life elsewhere. Frances Arnold publicly insisted that Dorothy had not shown signs of depression or intent to elope. Privately, however, the family worried about possible hidden romances or external pressures. Their reluctance to engage the police early on, and their subsequent reticence with certain details, contributed to rumors of secrets they wished to keep under wraps. One rumor posits that Dorothy was secretly involved with a suitor her family disapproved of, leading to a possible elopement. No concrete evidence supports this, and no partner ever stepped forward. Another variation suggests she might have become pregnant, allegedly seeking a risky medical procedure that led to her demise. Again, no verified proof exists. Some speculate a stranger, or even an acquaintance, kidnapped or harmed Dorothy. Robbery seems unlikely given her limited funds, but a personal vendetta or random violence cannot be entirely dismissed. Investigators looked into known criminals or suspicious characters active near Fifth Avenue, yielding no definitive suspect. A theory holds that despair over her writing career or other pressures drove Dorothy to suicide, possibly jumping into the East River or meeting misfortune in Central Park. No remains or personal effects were found to confirm this. The possibility of an accidental death, such as falling into a construction site or encountering an accident, also garnered consideration, though no body was ever recovered. A lesser but persistent notion is that Dorothy deliberately vanished to escape family expectations, forging a new identity. Critics argue she lacked the money and resources to sustain such a plan, especially as a woman in 1910 without widespread travel documents or independent income. Dorothy Arnold's disappearance captured national attention, overshadowed only by the era's other high-profile mysteries. She became a staple topic for true crime historians and armchair sleuths. Although countless rumors have surfaced over the decades, no credible confession or breakthrough evidence has ever emerged. Frances Arnold died in 1922, never learning what happened to his daughter. The family reportedly continued to investigate leads privately, but ultimately resigned themselves to the unknown. Later relatives occasionally commented on the tragedy, expressing hope that Dorothy had somehow survived, yet lamenting the lack of closure. The Dorothy Arnold case illustrates the social pressures of wealthy families in early 20th century America, where appearances and reputation could overshadow transparency in law enforcement. Her story persists in popular culture as an unsolved riddle, underscoring how even privileged lives can harbor mysteries that defy resolution. Despite a century of speculation, Dorothy Arnold's ultimate fate remains one of America's oldest missing person mysteries. Whether she met with misadventure, foul play, or chose to disappear, no definitive evidence has ever illuminated those last moments of her life. Thank you for watching and learning about Dorothy Arnold's perplexing disappearance. If you found this overview informative, please like, share, and subscribe. Keeping these stories in public view honors the victims and families left behind, reminding us that some questions linger on long after the headlines fade.